All right, let me get out of there. Let's see here. Very cool. What's up, you guys? Really great to see you all here. So I guess Charles's live stream got cut kind of short. I don't even know how much longer he was planning on going. He was going for an hour and a half.
Zoltan said that's what happens when you talk bad about the elite.
I like how he gets into politics too, like just kind of subvertently just kind of steers into politics and talking about Biden, Trump.
Well, I mean, I do agree with him, and that's actually my interview with him got cut a little short. But I was going to ask him, like, what came first for you? Was it cryptocurrency or politics? Because I do think that they kind of go hand in hand. A lot of my thoughts and beliefs and why I'm so passionate about cryptocurrency and Cardano are because of my political beliefs. And my life experiences that have led me to have these political beliefs.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I feel like for me, I'm always kind of like the libertarian minded. I've never felt like I've been able to resonate with like either party, like right wing or left wing, and that's kind of what got me into cryptocurrency. Really, it's like having sovereignty over your own money, being able to vote using your wallet, stuff like that. It is very interesting, but and especially now, right? Elections are in November. I think the entire conversation from now up until then, it's going to be lots of politics.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like that's going to bleed into the crypto space. And it's like, I don't ever talk about anything on that because you just have to stay so up to date with all of the news that's coming out. And a lot of it's so just fake, right? So it's hard to actually stay up to date and have informed and well-educated opinions on stuff when it's hard to find a good source for this. But I like you said, I just feel like it's so tied to cryptocurrency that in a way I should stay more up to date and but yeah, same thing for me, man. I have a libertarian mindset, and I agree with you completely. And Charles was talking about the Pareto principle during that AMA, and he's right. 80% or 20% is always going to do 80% of the production, and like we as a society have to choose whether we want that to be the government or private institutions. And kind of where we're at right now is a little bit of both. And I think a little bit of both is the way to go, but I think we should move a little bit more away from the government holding a big portion of that Pareto principle.
Yes. Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, and I feel like financial freedom is really the only way to do that.
Sure. Oh, Kaizen just minted a block.
Woo. Oh yeah, that's some good timing.
Yeah.
we didn't do too well with the Charles interview, but at least we got a block.
Hey, I'll take it. Well, it looks like we're getting a few people joining us here. What's up, guys? Thanks so much for joining. I know we were watching Charles's live stream. Somebody said it was kind of like Inception, a live stream of a live stream. So yeah, that's perfect timing on that one. But it's really good to see you guys here.
Yeah, and it's no worries, man. What we could do is we could just continue it from here and then do a little clip. You could just clip it off and have this be the way to go.
Yeah, go back and edit. You can do that.
I think when you're done with the live stream, YouTube actually asks you. It says, "Hey, man, you want to clip that?" It's pretty cool.
Pretty much like the first half hour.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. So, Peg, thanks so much for taking the time to chat. I think it's pretty cool. You and I are getting a chance to do this again. I think we did a live stream. What was it, before the virtual summit? And then
yeah, we did one on my channel. Yeah, I've always been planning on starting a podcast, and I just called it Paycast before I had the new idea about the use and utility. And yeah, you were the first and only Paycast. It was awesome, man.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's actually really cool to know about because it's like I know so many people are wanting to get into podcasts now. Are you still going to kind of roll with that and hopefully grow that from here?
So what I'm doing is I'm going to be starting a podcast. I named it already. It's going to be called the Cardano Aura. And the reason I chose that title was, hold on, sidetrack. I'm going to actually read the definition of aura. I know we all know what it means, but It just means the distinctive atmosphere or quality that seems to surround and be generated by a person, thing, or place, right? So the podcast is going to be about use and utility. It's going to be about people building projects, people building dApps, people building websites, people building communities. And I feel that I've met a lot of great people in this ecosystem. So the reason I went with the name, the Cardano Aura, is because it's going to be about the people and the things and the projects and the communities that are being built because of Cardano's ideologies, right? So as far as the name Paycast, I am recycling that, but it's still going to be me interviewing people one-on-one, but it's going to have, like, this theme is still pretty general, right? By me allowing people that are building communities, right? I could have you on, which is great. You know, I'm not limited to just people building developer or just building dApps, right? I'm not limited to just technical developer talk. Um, it's more general, but I that's going to kind of become really the centerpiece of my channel, is that podcast. And then I'm going to still be doing all the stuff that I do now on the side. And then I'll probably do like little specials, like a Cardano or a special where it's not following that line. You know what I mean? It's just like a little side podcast.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like how you said that. So it's like it's not necessarily catered to a specific group of people. Like if you're not a developer, you can still be involved in that. So really cool.
Yeah, and it's just anyone that's bringing value to the ecosystem, man. And that's like I'm trying to move towards with Bloom, and with my channel. Another thing, like kind of the other centerpiece that I want to move towards is adoption, and it's people that really don't understand Cardano. A lot of people just get either interested in it because of the libertarian ideologies that we were talking about, or the other main reason is just greed, right? And my kind of goal is to inform all of those people and educate all those people, whether they're here for greed or their libertarian ideologies, and just kind of explain in a technical way, but a more general point of view. Because I feel like when you watch your channel or you watch my channel, you're just in the weeds, man. You start hearing words like staking and ERC20 converter and dApps and native asset tokens, and you're like, what is going on? You know. And I just kind of I want to find a way, and I've really been thinking about this, to just start at square one, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Having I guess like a stepping stone, like a building block. I'm into Cardano. I want to know more about it. Where do I get started?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice,
And just like,
nice.
and why Cardano, right? Like why Cardano versus anything else? And what did we derive from Bitcoin, you know? Because that was the first paper that IOHK wrote, is what's good and bad about Bitcoin, you know? What can we take from that?
Sure.
And yeah, and I I think that's really good, man. I've been watching like Rick and Kyle talk about the Cardano Foundation. One of the questions they asked was, well, what can we take from Ethereum's foundation, right? And Tezos and Algorand and whoever. And I think that's really important, you know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's like having interoperability between different projects. It's not going to be like there's one coin to rule them all. I think having compatibility with different projects and even different communities, pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because there's always going to be people out there having great ideas, no matter who they're with or who they affiliate with, you know.
Yeah. Hey, Pay, I wanted to quickly just turn to the chat. It seems like we've got a couple questions coming in.
Heck yeah.
Um, so thank you to everyone who's joined us here. It looks like we got about 70 people. Crypto Cent with Swag Pool. What's up, man? So question for you guys. Some pool ops are frustrated that anonymity, uh, yeah, I can't even pronounce that word, anonymity is slowly fading for ops in order to garnish brand recognition. Does decentralized equal anonymity? Yeah, that's a good question. So I think from what he's asking, it's like, okay, so you're a pool operator. You really have to kind of put yourself out there to kind of establish your brand and, let your delegators know what you're doing, what you're about, what you're trying to solve within Cardano. Um, does decentralization equal anonymity? It's tough. I guess you just got to play according to your own rules and figure out if you're the type of person that wants to actually put yourself out there so that you can gain more exposure to your brand, then yeah, I mean, if that's what it takes for you, but I don't see why it should necessarily impact decentralization, being that anybody can really start a pool. You know, we can all contribute in different ways. So I don't know. I guess it's all in how you look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've really thought about that one a lot. Me personally, I really just wanted to be a stake pool operator. You know, that was my dream. The YouTube stuff kind of came second to that. And it, I'm starting to enjoy this stuff a lot more now, but in the past, I was always kind of a closeted person. I wasn't very social. So anonymity, we can't pronounce that
Yeah,
right today.
it's not easy.
Yeah, it's a lot of to me that sounds like the best way to go. You know, you still operate good infrastructure. You don't have to worry about. I mean, because imagine if ADA goes to $2 and you have a 2 million pledge on your pool. Well, that person then they can just look at a decentralized blockchain and say, okay, I know this guy has $4 million. I can go to his house and rob him at gunpoint. And that's scary for a lot of people, but you have to look at staking as a market, right? And there, I've met many of them. There are so many competent stake pool operators out there running nodes, and a lot of people, I think, when it comes to their money, they want to see a face. They want to have trust because, like Charles said during that AMA, um, you want to trust the people that you're delegating to because you're getting in a business relationship with them, right? So the only other option between having a face in front of it is a name, right? You have a name and a logo and a website, and you say, here's all the information I can give you. The only thing you can look at other than this is my history, right? And currently, we all have no history, right? Because, for example, if you have 3 or 4 good epochs right now and you have a bad epoch, that's going to lower your ROA 1%. And that's because there's no history here, right? So what people are doing by delegating to the faces that they know and the people that they can trust is because there's no other verifiable history to allow people to delegate to, like anonymous pools, right? And I don't really think that having faces attached to pools really takes away from decentralization. But that was a good question, man.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I really appreciate that question.
Yeah, thanks, Swagpool. Usually has good
Um,
questions.
Tom Jumper, you guys are good people. I like you. Hey, we like you too, man. Thanks so much for joining us. Account Kaizen, would you do a full video on how to set up a pool on the RockPi 4? Yeah, Account, I appreciate that, man. It's definitely in the works. I ended up getting it running on a Raspberry Pi. That was something I've been wanting to do for a while. So really excited. I'm going to be doing my best to create some content about that. So, you know, definitely stay tuned. But yeah, appreciate the question.
What kind of content are you going to do? A full setup guide from step 1 to step 1000?
I think, yeah, let's go for it. I feel like people would definitely enjoy it.
People would love that, man. Dude, that'd be a big hit. There are a lot of people out there looking for stake pool video guides right now, and really the reason that I haven't made them is just because of the security issues that run along with that. You know,
For
I'm
sure.
pretty conservative, and just after the couple things of people getting hacked, and I just didn't want to make. I don't know. It makes sense with Rock Pi, but for me to make a general guide on how to set up a pool in Linux, I feel that like that leads to 4,000 pool operators all having the exact same setup, right? Especially initially, and I feel like that just leaves in like security flaws, and that's kind of why I didn't go through with it, man. But I think if you made that content, people would love it, especially with a Rock Pi. You know,
Yes.
it's definitely a it's different. You know, it's interesting.
You know,
I would definitely watch that.
I'm actually glad that you brought that up because it's like it definitely is a security concern if you do have a video that people are using. It's kind of like a template, and you have a whole bunch of different people using that same setup. So that's one thing too to consider. It's like because if you were to do a how-to video, it would be pretty bare bones, like basic. There's so
Hmm.
many things you have to consider, especially with running on your own home network. Like you got to do port forwarding, setting up your firewall. There's a lot of other things that just kind of are involved with setting up a stake pool.
Yeah, and you also don't really want to expose your home IP address like at all, you know. So
Yes,
it's a tricky thing, man. What one thing that I would recommend to you though is doing it for because they have test nets running in the background. I would recommend doing it on a test net and saying, "Hey guys, so nothing's at risk. This is how you set up a stake pool. It's the exact same thing, but it's setting it up on the test net, you know. So then people have a little bit of
nice.
time to to tinker, you know, because I mean, really, when it comes to switching from mainnet to the test net, it's just a couple different, I mean, a couple different tacks, you know, a couple different arguments that you're using within Linux. So, and you could just even say that in like in the video, you know. But yeah, I've never actually, the only time I've never actually seen a Rock Pi or used anything like it, man. It would be pretty cool to see a video on that. I'd definitely tune in for that.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, I'm excited. That would be awesome. Hey, John Hamilton, thanks so much for the super chat, man. Glad you could join us. Pay, I think you got one here. This is from Kitty Fane. Big Pay, who's going to be your first guest on your podcast?
I actually got Sebastian, the head dev over at Emergo. The reason I chose him for the first, well, I reached out to him and I was really happy that he accepted, man. I've always, he makes a lot of cool whiteboard videos that I would even rank as high as Charles, man. Some of them are awesome. He did this video. So the software that nodes run on, so Daedalus is like a node and everything connects to each other and they're all connecting to different nodes. And the software that runs on is a software called Cardano node. It's what stake pools run on. It's what everything runs on. Well, Sebastian made this video about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month. And he said, we need Cardano node to be built in a different programming language so it can be used in the web browser. And he was talking about doing this in Rust. And he just kind of went through like a nice 10 to 12 minute video about how useful this would be, right? And how he really needs people to help him work on it, you know, because Emergo doesn't have the funding. He doesn't have the funding to do it himself. So he needs people to help him work on it. So yeah, that's what I was going to do, is just have him come on and have him explain that whole thing and maybe explain a little bit about Yoroi and the stuff they've been doing over there as well. And then kind of just leave it at a call to action to people and say, hey, this is why this would be useful and we need you, you know.
Wow.
But that's the first episode.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited for that. That's really cool.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to finally meet Sebastian, man. I've really you know, I've always wanted to be a developer, you know, so just to see him in the videos he makes. And Yoroi, I really love Yoroi, so I'm really excited to finally get to talk to him for the first time. It's going to be pretty great experience for me.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, he seems like a really great guy, and I know he's been putting in so much work.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can't imagine, because I know he's living over there in Japan, and yeah, he's probably got a cool story, man. That's for sure.
Yep. No, definitely. Well, I'm excited for that one. Let's see here. Richard Ben Mullen. Hey man, hope you're doing well. Do you guys know, will Ledger Nano work direct from Daedalus or via Ledger Live? So I know Charles has been in the works with a proposal with Vacuum Labs. So they're trying to get Ledger implemented in Daedalus. So you will be able to actually connect your wallet to Daedalus directly as opposed to Ledger Live. As far as Ledger Live, I'm not sure when we'll be able to see Cardano ADA show up. I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we're not sure when, but we do know that Charles wants it, which is that's a good thing. You know, that means we'll get it. Just going to take some time.
Yes. Yeah, he knows what he wants, and I'll tell you what, he'll go get it.
Yeah, it'll get done. We're just not sure when. That's for sure.
Jim Jensen, thanks for all your efforts. Great material, technically sound, clearly described. I am following on the regular. Hey, that's really awesome. I really do appreciate that. Definitely check out both of our channels, Kaizen Crypto and Big Pay. Both of us really working hard, putting out educational content related to Cardano. Big Pay's got his podcast coming up, so you definitely want to make sure you subscribe to his channel for that. Really excited. Thanks so much for the comment. All right, cool. So guys, I do have a couple things I just wanted to talk about. Oh, camera went out of focus there. I do have a couple things I did want to talk about. There were some questions from social media. Cardano Guru was asking any news on the Goguen testnet. And another part of his question was, how will that impact the hardware requirements for Cardano nodes? So that's something I'm looking forward to. Let me see if I can figure this camera out.
Move it to the left a little bit. I think that's what fixed it last time.
Let me see here.
Oh, it's probably attached to something too, isn't it? So it's not
Yeah.
gonna.
Tripod.
Yeah.
All right, a little blurry, but so with Goguen testnet, so Charles did mention there's going to be more details at the end of the month. So looking forward to that. I guess really a lot of it has to do with just bringing out the tooling for a lot of these developers to actually start building. And then how will that impact the hardware requirements on Cardano nodes? Pei and I were actually talking about this a little bit before we started. And I feel like memory utilization is something that'll probably have the biggest impact, and then also just latency with your network. Pei, what do you think about that, man?
Um, Man, I really have been thinking about this a lot lately. I'm curious as to what things being built on top of the nodes will actually do to impact performance. I think the first thing that pops in my mind is obviously memory utilization, like you said. Um, and there's going to be a lot of stuff for stake pool operators to deal with. Obviously, like you're going to be able to select um, different coins or different operations that you want to do, and you're going to be paid in different cryptocurrencies for doing that. So that's obviously going to require a little bit more performance. As far as how much more, I'm not too sure. I'm going to have to do some research on that, but it's definitely going to be interesting to have multiple keys and multiple cryptocurrencies attached to one node. I am really looking forward to that. Honestly, it's going to be pretty cool to just be able to run my node to do more things that's not just Cardano, and then actually all the business stuff that comes on top of that, right? Because if you have these nodes and you may not know, we're going to have to figure out whether you want to specialize in something, right? Or if you want to be kind of like if your node can be the jack of all trades, right? You're doing multiple different things, or if it's good to specialize in this one thing while having these nodes be jack of all trades. Like there's going to be a lot of stuff to learn when it comes to this, and I'm really looking forward to it. And as far as the Goguen testnet, man, I can't tell you guys how excited I am. I kind of blew up during the Shelly testnet because I was just like kind of down in the weeds for that, and I'm going to be down in the weeds for the Goguen testnet too, man. I'm really excited for it. Same with the Voltaire testnet. As soon as they reach out to me and say, "Hey, Big Pay, we need you," I'll be over there. But they're doing something private right now, and I didn't get any emails, so
Oh man, nice.
that's probably why they didn't send me an email. I was giving out all the information too early.
Oh.
They would release something. They would release something for the friends and family testnet, and I'd have a video out within 24 hours about it. They're like, this fucking guy.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Hey, at least you're delivering that content though.
Yeah. Let me answer one real quick. Rizwan Hussein, he said, "Hey Peyton, my last epoch rewards were half of my normal rewards. Any reason for that?" Bloom 2. So Rizwan, this is going to happen sometimes. So over time, your rewards will average out to around 4.5 to 5.5%. So what happens is you get lottery tickets based on the amount of stake you have. So say you have at 100 million, you have 100 million lottery tickets. And you should be able to get about 36 blocks with those lottery tickets. So you're paid from blocks. Well, it's a random number game, right? So you might get unlucky for one epoch and only receive 25 of those 36 blocks. So when you receive 25 out of 36, that means it means less rewards to everyone in that pool. But because it's a random number generator, following that epoch, and this is actually what happened with Bloom 2, the rewards that you're talking about, you actually got 110% of the rewards the following epoch. So over time, it's all going to average out. But it really is just a random number generator, and it's the lottery system. So sometimes you're going to get paid more, and sometimes you're going to get paid less. And what I can guarantee you is that I'm doing everything on my end to ensure the best possible luck.
Awesome. Great explanation.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm sure you're gonna get a bad epoch here soon, KAIZN. They
Oh,
come out of nowhere,
wood.
man.
Knock on wood. This one's a pretty good one. John Jensen, thanks so much for the comment. So beyond staking, what are both of you looking at doing with Cardano in the long term? Beyond stake pool operator. So yeah, I actually really like that question because I feel like being a stake pool operator is kind of like that foundational step for me personally, just to get involved with the project. And with this YouTube channel, just kind of creating a source of content and information. I was also thinking, probably later on down the line, depending on what happens in the future, I do want to do some type of nonprofit with Cardano and maybe help developing countries. Like I was looking at India. My family background is actually from India, but I've actually never been there. So that's something that it's kind of like I feel if I can find something that I could solve, like a problem, like a social issue or something that could be solved with Cardano or blockchain technology in general, doing something like that as a nonprofit definitely is something I'd be looking into.
Yeah, it's a really cool idea, man. Do you have anything in mind pertaining to like what kind of problems that you see um, could be fixed with a blockchain?
Yeah, I mean, I would have to actually go there to see like what exactly I feel is the most pertinent.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I know that I mean just a couple examples like cross-border payments, right? Like remittances, huge thing in India. Blockchain definitely has a big opportunity there. The only thing is that the government in India isn't necessarily the most crypto friendly. So
Hmm.
I guess there's some obstacles there. But I guess another thing would be things like supply chain, getting people who wouldn't necessarily be able to get a bank account, who are maybe like farmers or they're living in more rural areas who do the work on the land, but there's really no way to be able to figure out the crop and get paid accordingly. So I guess something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really do like the supply chain stuff. Um, as far as what I plan on doing in the future, I agree with you completely about the stake pool operator really being the foundation for everything that I'm going to do in the future. Because when you're building, because I want to be a developer, I want to build dApps, and when you're building dApps on top of Cardano, you're going to have to be interacting with the blockchain, right? You're going to have to be using Cardano CLI and Cardano Node to get information from the blockchain, to do transactions, to so really learning the Cardano Node software, learning Linux, and learning that environment was really a great start for me to be a developer in Cardano, right? Because you have to understand really the intricacies of the software, and just really just to get data from it and to interact with it. And you couldn't really do that without that base. And yeah, just like I said, I went over the podcast. So I'm going to be doing the podcast. I'm going to be learning Plutus. I'm going to be learning Plutus to build dApps, um, and then just keep doing the YouTube stuff that I'm doing. But that's pretty much the future for me with Cardano. That was a good question, man. I appreciate it.
That's really cool, man. Have you gotten a chance to play around with Marlow or Plutus?
I've played around with Marlow a little bit, but I haven't really dove into Plutus. Someone actually just sent me a link to the Plutus playground, and I was actually planning on doing that later tonight. But that
Nice.
it kind of sneaks up on you, man, because I was diving deep into the stake pool stuff, and then like 2 months later, I feel like I'm doing really well with it now, and then I'm like, oh wow, this is Gogan's kind of sneaking up on me, you know?
Yeah, man. I didn't realize we'd go through Shelly so quickly. I mean, like,
Yeah,
what deep parameter is already at what 0.75, 0.72? It's like, wow, it's going by quick.
yeah, I know it really is, and I like that it's a constant decay. You just get to look forward to it every epoch.
Yes, definitely. Oh, okay. So this one might be a good thing to get into. Um, Talking about the Cardano Foundation. I don't know if you wanted to get into that a little bit. Rizwan Hussein says, been reading, watching some of the not so good messages from Rick and Kyle's um, Cardano Foundation response video. Any thoughts from the two of us? I don't know. I feel like with what's going on with the CF, so they've had leadership issues now. It's been an ongoing issue. And I guess what happened was two of their prominent people left the CF. So ultimately stemming from a leadership issue. I guess the concern now is what is the CF actually doing in terms of fulfilling its promise? I guess now that we've seen Shelley, I guess the thing is to now get Cardano out to the world, spread the message, let people know what we're trying to do. And I guess it's a community driven effort from Rick and Kyle. And I saw their live stream with Charles, and they were talking about what can the community do to actually help hold members at the CF accountable. So I feel like, with what Rick is trying to do, I would definitely like to see him lead something like that. I think that he started a Telegram, and it's like, there's already over 400 people in that group.
Yeah, I joined it yesterday and there was 200. Now there's like double that. And I was like,
It's crazy. It's
yeah.
like, so there's so much willingness from the community, which is amazing to see. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a bit of politics there, as far as the heat that Rick might be catching, or even Kyle. I'm not sure what that's like, but
Mhm.
it'll be interesting to see, especially when we do find Voltaire. We can actually start voting on some of these things. So
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the things that they said that, so first off, I should say that anyone that I've talked to at the Cardano Foundation has treated me with utmost respect. Particularly the people that I interact with. Being an ambassador, you're assigned someone. I was assigned Andy Hendricks. He's an awesome dude. He actually moderates Charles's live streams, but he's a great guy. He's always been great to me. But the first thing that I would want to see is a community elected board. To me, that makes the most sense. One thing that you have to be worried about is people that are really just kind of trying to do a power grab, right, at CF's cost. And I don't see Rick or Kyle doing that at all. I just with Spakra, without saying too much, I've just seen people that are clearly just trying to be in it for a power grab, and I think the people that should be elected for something like that, if there were to be an elected board, they should really be the people that almost don't want it. You know what I mean? That they're not doing it for a power grab; they're doing it because they have to. So it's just I really do think a community board, and also just them giving us a chance to give our opinions would be a really good thing. And just things like, because CF delegates all of their ADA, right? I really would really like them to delegate their ADA to a curated list of pools, right? Not just ones that they pick themselves, right? Because um, essentially that ADA is not supposed to be theirs. It's supposed to be for the community. So they should be delegating to people that they're worried about leaving the community because they don't have enough profit to keep their servers up, not the people that are here. Like, for example, if they delegated to me, right? Like I'm doing great. So I don't need help from them to keep adding value to the community. They should be delegating to maybe a curated list. And as far as who makes that list, I don't know, maybe Spakra, maybe them, but it should be a list of people that bring value, and that are already being provided value for doing so, at least in my opinion.
yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, and I do think that, because it's very easy for us to say that we want X, Y, and Z done, but the expectations have to be reasonable. You know what I mean? And I feel like so far the Cardano Foundation hasn't really met our expectations, and that's okay. So it's also okay to set much higher expectations, to fall short of those expectations, so you're left with something that's met our previous expectations. So it's a fine balance. And I really do think it's a great initiative what they're doing, and I look forward to seeing what comes with it, and I will try to be more a part of that.
Yeah, likewise, likewise. I think it's going to be a community driven effort. Cool. Yeah, that was a great question. Let's see here.
Yeah, some bangers today, guys.
Let's see
Some
here.
good
What is the
questions.
Telegram group name? Let's see here. Oh, Shweta got us. What's up, Shweta? Group name is Build the Roadmap. Yes, thank you for that. So it's on Telegram. You can check it out if you're interested. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting initiative from the community. So pretty cool. Okay, I've got another one here. This is actually from Twitter. So I've got a question from a delegator saying that they're aware of the risks involved with being a pool operator, and as far as having your keys not stored on a hot machine or hot environment. As far as security concerns for being a delegator, so what would be probably the biggest concern for somebody who's delegating to a pool from a security standpoint?
Um, really just their ADA, right? When you delegate to a pool, you're not giving me access to anything. For example, if you delegate to me 100,000 ADA, and then when it's time for you to get paid your rewards, you're going to get paid your rewards no matter what, as long as I minted my blocks. And that's why it's really important to find a stake pool operator that you trust, like KAIZN or I, if you watch our videos and you know that we're not going to just disappear overnight, because the only thing that you can actually lose, the only thing's at risk is your rewards, right? So if you delegate to somebody who's charging a 0% fee, well, before the epoch's over, they can raise that to 100% and then take all of your rewards without you ever knowing, while you still being delegated to that pool. So as far as what can you do to ensure security with your delegation, first is pick a good stake pool operator that you trust, and really just watch it over time. Maybe watch on ADA pools, make sure they're minting their blocks. I wouldn't say just leave overnight if they had a bad epoch, because it is all based on luck, as I mentioned. And then also the basic security practices just for holding ADA in general, right? You're at risk for holding ADA, right? So if you have a computer with malware of it on some sort that tracks what you type in, and then you get on your ROI and you recover your wallet by typing it in, and you have malware that's watching that, they can just steal your ADA. So you just what I would recommend, if you're very worried about that, you're not computer savvy, I would recommend just buying a ledger, Ledger Nano S, Ledger Nano X, because that adds a layer of security, right? So if you do have malware on your computer, um, to delegate to somebody and to send ADA, because that's what they do, is they'd either see that security code, steal it, or they'd see your spending password and then send the ADA to their wallet by typing in that spending password. So what you can do to stop that is, I think I do have a ledger sitting right here. You buy a little ledger. This is the Nano X. And then it's going to ask you on screen whenever you want to send ADA, whenever you want to delegate ADA, whenever you want to view the ADA. So this just adds an extra layer of security, you know. But as far as delegating, there's no risk to it other than the own holding risks, and then also delegating to a good stake pool operator.
Okay. Yeah, no, great points. I completely agree. I think having a ledger or a Trezor, it's going to really minimize a lot of that risk. One thing I would say also, I've just had a couple people contacting me about how to actually, I guess, hold your keys. With the ledger, the nice thing is, so you have a 24-word recovery phrase. That's your wallet seed phrase. Even if you delete your ledger device, you don't necessarily lose your funds if you have that seed phrase. And the same goes with like a Yoroi wallet or a Daedalus wallet. Having that recovery phrase, that seed phrase, that's going to be your private key. So making sure that you have that stored in a safe, secure place. I recommend backups, of course, and just having it stored where you can easily get to it, but not so easily that somebody who were to, like, knock on wood, like somebody gets into the house, you at least know you've got that peace of mind. But yeah, so great points that you mentioned there, man. Very cool.
Yeah, and that's another thing, is like, if you're not anonymous, you might want to take that into account. You might not want to hold the secret keys to your ADA at your house. If you're a YouTuber or you're a public figure of some sort, you might not want to hold all the money there at your house. It's security is it's relative to the amount of money that you have, the position that you're in.
Yes. Yep.
Mr. JT said, that's why I recommend people to use Pegasus tool on mobile and set alerts for fees and pledge. That's a good idea, man.
Oh, this one's a pretty good one. Kelomax, do you think that Engine ERC 1155 NFTs will be integrated with Daedalus eventually? They're talking about an ERC token converter, so I don't see why not. Pei and I were going back and forth and talking about what we'd like to see Daedalus look like when Goguen actually comes out. Pei was mentioning something like a messenger, and I was talking about something like a marketplace. So there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, and I think if they get the optimization of Daedalus down, man, it's going to be an awesome application. Charles, We were talking about the Cardano Foundation thing earlier. We were talking about Kyle and Rick, and they were all talking about it. Well, Charles kind of dropped a bomb in there that kind of got me a little giddy. He said he would like it to where you delegate to a stake pool. You essentially subscribe to them within Daedalus, and then within Daedalus, you would have some sort of social feed where I, as a stake pool operator, can give you updates, like updates on increasing pledge, increasing fees, or hey, because for example, if I update a relay, right? So relays are essentially nodes that hide the IP address of your leader node, your stake pool. If you guys look on ADA Pools or Pool Tool, you guys can see my relays and see when they're online. Whereas if I want to take one down to update it, I get a message and people are like, "Hey man, is the pool on fire? Is everything okay?" Whereas if I had a way to notify everyone delegating to the pool, I can say, "Hey, we're entering in maintenance for probably about 5 to 10 minutes to download the new Cardano node and the new Cardano CLI." And I just think a lot of different things like that would be really cool, like Voltaire voting, like a social feed, and then also like you said, the marketplace for DApps, and then also within the DApps, there's going to be their own marketplaces, because you can have a decentralized marketplace built on the decentralized application.
Mind blowing. Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I know as far as Voltaire, I know they were mentioning some type of app, like a voting app, but being able to actually vote in the Daedalus wallet, pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really do want that option, man. I do have I have an all right phone, but I don't know, something about it. I'm just a desktop kind of guy. I would much rather do everything that I want to do on the desktop and then leave my phone for, just miscellaneous things, on the go things. So I would like to see it, especially initially, not only with the app, But I think that might be how it goes, is app only at first.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll see it slowly integrated.
Mm-hmm.
Agartha Asgard saying it should be obligated to have Vera encryption on a computer if you're in crypto. Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of people doing where you have a lot of people even get their own separate dedicated computer just for crypto.
Yeah, I have one of those. It's my Linux crypto computer.
Nice. G. Sean Walker, have either of you heard of the Ngrave wallet? Do you plan on using one? I've actually never heard of Ngrave wallet.
I
I've
haven't either.
heard of Kobo. I've heard of Ledger, Trezor. Yeah, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, if you caught the little podcast or interview, whatever you want to call it, that I did with Charles, he was talking about a standardization of these hardware wallets, which there's actually a standard that's being set to where you can really use it with any device, which would be really cool. And I am looking forward to that as there's more devices, because I don't think we should have to rely on Ledger or Tether or any of these. I would like a standard protocol that all of them follow that's secure, to where I can just buy these from any company and then allow them to compete with each other. You might still stick with Ledger because you enjoy Ledger Live, or they have the most coins, but I would like to see a standard protocol for these. This guy, so someone said, YTH said, DOT is rising at a crazy speed. Cardano lack of marketing team really hurt them. DOT is future question mark. What do you think of that, KAIZN?
Lots of hype around DOT right now. I've only just recently heard of DOT, maybe like a month ago. I think being in crypto, like being behind the shiny new thing, it could be a double-edged sword, really. I think DOT. I was watching some videos just trying to explain what the project is, so I could learn more about it. I guess they're trying to tackle the interoperability issue between blockchains and Ethereum. So I see the use case. I definitely do see why it's something that people would want to invest in. But DOT being the future, it's really hard to say. It really is hard to say.
Yeah, yeah, and it could be, but just because DOT's the future doesn't mean Cardano doesn't have a spot right above or right below DOT. I don't think people should get worried about every single cryptocurrency that's kind of in the limelight right now because they're doing great things. And if you looked on Twitter, I think on their big release, Charles actually said, "Great work over there, like great engineers." And they replied and said, "Thanks, man. Thanks, Charles. Really appreciate it." And I'm really happy to see anyone having success in the cryptocurrency space because I think it all, in a way, is going to funnel back to everybody as long as you don't have, a shit coin that's not doing anything, that's not innovating, that's not looking at what other people are doing. They're not looking at their neighbors to see what's going on over there. Why do you have bigger crops than I do? Um, yeah, and I don't think there's anything to worry about. And I'm always excited to see great and upcoming projects. And the shiny things, they come and they go, and some will stick, and cryptocurrency is always about the next big thing because people like to hype up these things, make a bunch of money off of it. I kind of prefer Cardano in the sense that we've already had our hype cycle, right? We've already went to $1.25, and most people, I mean, it's like for DOT, for example, I personally, not financial advice, would not buy DOT because of all of the hype around it right now, because that means the hype was already there prior to this and it's got it up to this point. Whereas Cardano right now, we are in kind of in a hype cycle because of Shelly, and we're doing great versus the past 5 months, but I would still feel very comfortable buying it at 9 cents, So it's like a slow and steady growth, I think, is the way to go, and I'm sure it's not going to happen that way, but that's the way I would like it.
And I agree with you, because it's like if you go and chase that thing that everybody's looking at, it's like you're probably going to end up getting burned if the price were to go against you. And right now, people aren't necessarily looking at what's being built on Cardano. They're looking at all these things like DeFi and Polkadot and all that kind of stuff because the price is going up. So people are looking at the price and saying, "Oh, there's got to be something going on here." But I remember Charles was saying Cardano is like an iceberg, and being able to see that iceberg actually start to take form. We're only now getting into the Goguen phase, where it's actually going to be a serious contender with some of these smart contract protocols.
Yeah. And I think there's an advantage to that. There's an advantage to looking at the faults of something else and building on top of it. I mean, like I said earlier, with them looking at back at Bitcoin and looking at what they did wrong versus what they did right. And I mean, they're doing the same thing with Ethereum, the same thing with Solidity, the same thing with the ERC20 standard. And they're seeing what they can improve upon, and I think that's going to be a big advantage. And greed takes a lot of this. So I think a lot of these big projects, if they know they're going to be able to make a much larger margin on whatever they're doing with their applications because the fees are much lower, because they can have more transactions per second or whatever they're looking for. If we can provide incentive for them to come over here, then they will, so I'm not really too worried about it. And I think we have all the tools that we need to make the changes if they need to be changed, if the changes need to be changed, to allow these, to create incentives for these people to come over,
Yep. Yeah, spot on. So guys, we've got about 89 people in the chat. Just want to say thank you guys so much for joining us. I know at the beginning of the live stream, we kind of went head to head there with Charles. So we kind of hopped on his live stream just to kind of catch some of his points. But, maybe we'll see if we can do a little bit better on the timing. I know the surprise AMAs are it's a hit or miss.
They're surprised. They're surprising. That's for sure.
JT, Big Pay and Kaizen, thanks for doing what you do. Hey, you know what? As content creators, I know Pay and I definitely really appreciate that. It's just a lot of work, putting out the YouTube videos, getting the stake pool where it's, actually profitable for our delegators. It really does mean a lot.
Yeah, the comment after that from John Hamilton said, Emergo sold 2 billion ADA. Did they actually do that? Send me a link, man. Send me a link. That's some big news. That's for the next, I'll mention that in the next weekly recap, if that's true.
Yeah. I was watching a video from Philippe, and he was talking about Emergo And I guess from his perspective, he was saying they were selling ADA, like cover business expenses, but
I saw that. Was it the live stream?
I don't know if it was a live stream. I think he ended up just recording it.
Oh, really?
But it's interesting because it's like if you're actually selling ADA to cover business expenses, it makes sense. But one thing that kind of caught my interest was as far as the amount of ADA they have pledged to their pools. I think it's
Hmm.
like something really small, like
It's like
10,000.
1,000.
Yeah, like 1,000 ADA or something. I was like, that's kind of interesting.
Well, it makes me mad, but in a way, I can't be mad at Emergo. You kind of have to be mad at the incentive structure for pledge, right? If Emergo has so much ADO to where they don't have to pledge any, and they can still make not a large difference in rewards, then that's an issue with the incentives for people to pledge and secure the network from Sybil attacks, right? But also at the same time, I feel like Emergo is one of our industry leaders, in the Cardano space. They should be setting good examples for pledge, specifically because that is securing the network from the thing that ends the network, right? And I felt the same way about when IOG made 20 pools. I said, oh, you guys can do whatever you want, but also, shouldn't you be setting a good example? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I initially made 2 pools, and I mean, that was the right choice for me, but I didn't want to make any more than that. Um, just because I don't know, it just felt disrespectful until K increased, and then me making that decision, IOHK comes out with 20, but at the same time, it makes sense because they have so much ADA, but they could have just delegated that to smaller pools that they trust.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting, and it's going to be an interesting thing seeing essentially our leaders in this space before we're completely decentralized. There are leaders no matter what because they have so much ADA. I mean, not anymore if they sold 2 billion, but they were our leaders, and it's going to be interesting to see the choices that they make and where they go, um, really as Cardano progresses.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. It is a long game now.
Yeah, it's a life game now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get I'll get the Cardano logo tattooed right on my pineal gland like Joe Rogan.
No.
That should be the new logo. The Cardano logo on my pineal gland.
You're not committed if you don't have it right up here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool, man. I know we've been going for a while. I just wanted to say thank you again. If there was anything else that you wanted to talk about before we go ahead and wrap this live stream up, I'll just leave the floor open to you, and then we can go ahead and part ways.
See if we can find a good question. We can end it on that.
Cool.
One thing though is there's 100 people watching and only 57 likes. What's going on there? I want to see a jump of at least 20 after me saying that, man. You can't play with Pritesh's likes over here, man.
Guys, you know what the YouTube algorithm is like. Come on, it's brutal.
Yeah, exactly. They hate crypto YouTubers. All right, so all right, one more good question. Come on. I'm waiting. Tony said, it's great to see you guys rank so high in the pools, fully deserved. I really appreciate that, Tony.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great feeling to see content creators getting that, getting the delegation. It means a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it really means a lot to me too, man. It's pretty cool. I've always wanted to when I was younger, I always wanted to create videos, and then I just wanted to create a stake pool, and then it led me back to creating videos. It's pretty funny. I used to make just gaming YouTube videos. I used to make like Minecraft videos and GTA videos and just like Call of Duty videos. It was so funny. I was like 13 or 14 years old, just making squeaky YouTube videos and guides on how to get the like, oh, how to get the hidden perk in this zombie map. It's just so funny that I still do similar things, but it's about a decentralized cryptocurrency that I'm more passionate about than anything else that I have been in my life, you know?
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
Buy Bitcoin said, when will it be possible to delegate to more pools from one wallet? I would probably say in a couple months. Charles talks about it every day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he definitely wants that. Even in his AMA, he was talking about it. He definitely wants it.
Sam Arnold's got a good one for you, Pritesh. What's your go-to tomato sauce recipe?
Ooh. Okay. I guess it depends on what you're making there, man. I mean, if you're gonna go
Yeah.
for Italian, Italian, like you could do lasagna. It usually starts with the base, saute some onions, make sure you got them all nice and golden. Throw in some garlic, a little bit of salt, get it seasoned up. And then tomato puree. It if it's a little tart, just add just a little bit of sugar. You should be good.
Yeah, especially if you're doing it the Italian way. I feel like you throw a little sugar in there.
Yep.
For sure.
Cool question, man.
Yeah, but we can go ahead and end it there if you'd like. I saw you guys did like it about 25 times after I said that. I appreciate it, everybody.
Nice. Yeah, guys, I did want to say I really appreciate you all. It's been such an amazing experience. Just yesterday, I got the Cardano ambassador nomination go through, and just want to say thank you to everybody who has been supportive. It really means a lot. It's incredibly humbling to just be here with you guys and share this experience with you. So, thank you from myself. I know Pei also. We're just super grateful for all of you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I really appreciate you guys all coming by and watching this today. If you guys want to see me come back on here and Pritesh would like that as well, just comment more of this down below if you made it till the end. But like I said, I really do appreciate everything. It honestly is a blast for me to do these. It's not really hard work, because it's so fun. So I do appreciate it.
Very cool. All right, man. Well, we will catch up soon. I appreciate it. All right, you guys, you take care.